You can chop it up as me still reeling from the emotion of the last episode, but the finale of Akebi's Sailor uniform just tore me up. And I think, like I said before, I think that connection of the last episode, this episode, is the key thing there. Is with the last episode, it was an acknowledgement that Akebi had of how many friends she's gained. And then when you get into the finale, it's those friends supporting her. I love the whole theme of this entire episode is just focusing so much on how everybody is acknowledging that Akebi has always been supporting them, and now they have the chance, an opportunity to do the same for her, and it's her realizing that. And it was just super powerful episode. I just, like I said before, having that kind of connection between the two episodes, the moment that Erika gets up on that stage, I'm just it's already hitting me, and it's already yanking tears out of me. And then the violin playing, I'm like, no, stop. This whole episode is just destroying me. And I think also that realization that it's over, like the realization that was the last episode. And unfortunately, like most slice of life, I don't necessarily see this getting a second season, sadly, as much as I will probably be asking for it for the next year until I forget. I don't think it's going to, and it deserves it. It solely deserve it. Whereas Cloverworks' other piece that they did this, technically today, with My Dress Up Darling, technically that one seen some insane sales growth with the actual manga. I don't see this having that same success, that same public acceptance that Dress Up Darling did. So it's sad, but I accept it. I think this is a solid season. I do want more, obviously. I want this to continue on forever and ever. I absolutely adored this series. It's enough that I will probably check out the manga. It's just, it was so good. This is slice of life at its best. And I'll get more into that when I do my review. I will definitely be doing a review of this show. But for the final episode, yes, loved it. I loved how the episode opens up kind of showing Akebi getting ready for her performance. And I don't know if anybody else noticed, but it went out of its way to show her put her skirt on, and there was something underneath it. So it's like her learning from past mistakes. She decided to wear her sports shorts when she does her performance because for some reason she decided to do it in her Sailor uniform. And so that was a nice touch to add to it, even though one of the shots where she did the splits, it didn't really look like she had them on, but beside the point, it was still really funny to kind of see that acknowledgement that she kind of makes. And it's such a passing shot. It's not like she herself is pointing it out. It's just it's letting you know, yeah, she learned. But yeah, that build up, just really good job of really building up that tension. Now, I will give one little critique of this entire segment here for the build up to the actual performance is they kept breaking the tension of her being on stage and the silence that she was experiencing. They kept breaking it by showing that build up to them pretty much hinting to Akebi, hey, would you like a pianist to be there and perform with you? And she's like, oh, that'd be great, but I don't think I would ever have somebody accompany me like that. And that was what was kind of breaking that silence, even though it was really great because what that was doing was building up to, oh yeah, what we all know, Erika's going to be there. Like we all knew Erika was going to be on that stage. There was no way that she wasn't going to be on that stage. It was too much build up for that. But it was technically us seeing Akebi's mindset of that build up to, oh yeah, Erika is here and she is going to perform with me. So it worked out really well. It was a really beautiful performance. And like I said before, it was a contrasting, beautiful performance because we've seen the beautiful portrayal that she has on the stage. Everybody's loving it. But at the same time, the entire time, seeing everybody acknowledging one by one, Akebi was there for me. Akebi was cheering me on. Akebi told me not to cry. Akebi was on the field and she was doing some crazy stuff and she pushed herself and acknowledging everything that Akebi has kind of pushed herself to adjust to, everything that she forced herself to learn, all the sports and everything that she learned techniques in, she's using it on the stage. And it was kind of a cool to see both the acknowledgement of the hard work that she's put with everybody, the amount of effort she put into basically encouraging people, turns into these brief scenes between every single character. And it was, like I said, emotionally, an acknowledgement of both this and the previous episode that just, it was so good. It was so subtle, but yet so fantastic. That's pretty much been my thing. If you've been following my episode by episode impressions, every single episode is me acknowledging that this show is so fantastic. The storyteller is so fantastic at doing simple but impactful storytelling. Simple slice of life with impactful moments. And I think that's just what makes me sold on it so much. I don't see melodrama. I don't see overblown stuff. I don't see things going out of their way. This is just simply a good-hearted person, a hardworking person that gets something that they deserve. You want her to get that success. You want her to succeed, and you're seeing her push herself to succeed. But yeah, Erika was beautiful. I think when Erika first showed up on the stage, I was like, oh my gosh, that dress. Like I said before, it was a little bit comical in the idea that Akebi decided to just wear her normal sailor uniform. But the fact that Erika went out of her way to go out and get like this really beautiful dress, well, she technically is from a very well-off family, seemingly, so it made sense that she would have that, and she probably performed on stage before as a violinist or a pianist, and so she probably had that for performances, but still, for her to go out of her way to come in there with that, it was just... The contrast was a little bit silly, but at the same time, she just looks so gorgeous. And that performance, the animation, of course, oh my gosh, the animation of not just Akebi's dance routine and how much detail they put into that, a lot of the closer shots, but just equally just like the performance of the piano playing and the violin playing. Now, granted, when it comes to like, yes, the hands on the piano, I don't think, for some reason, I don't think any any animation studio is ever gonna get away from the CGI hands. They did a good job of hiding it with this particular one, but at the same time, everything else, like her body language and everything moving was fantastic. And then of course the violin playing. Fans of Your Lie in April probably were just equally as happy with this as were with Your Lie in April and the performances they had in that one with the violin and everything. So just very beautiful. The characters were beautiful. The animation was beautiful. The music itself was beautiful. The drop-off point between the piano playing and the violin playing and having Akebi kind of acknowledge that stop point was just, everything was just so good. Everything was just kind of really hitting on those emotional points that I was having throughout the entire episode. But yes, having everybody cheer them on was fantastic. I love the bow at the very end, too. They do the whole hold hands bow thing, and the flap from Akebi's sailor uniform flaps forward, just to kind of one last acknowledgement that, hey, I'm wearing a sailor uniform and nobody else is. Just that one little quirk of it to kind of stand out in front of everybody who was probably going, man, she's got that. And they technically acknowledged that when they were doing the introductions. They're like, everybody... that was another thing that I really loved. It was like, everybody knows who this person is. Like, if you've seen her, you know her because of the sailor uniform. But also acknowledging the idea that she's also somebody that if she sees you, she's going to say hi. I just love that. That's Akebi. Everybody knows who she is. She's the one that if you see her, if you lock eyes with her, she's gonna come say hi to you. But man, I forgot about it. The volleyball game. Oh, when Akebi hit the ground, that hurt. That hurt so bad. It wasn't just like she hit the ball and just face planted. It was like she rolled and slammed into the side of the stage. It was like, ugh. But no, it was just so good. Seeing her get back up and just rush out there and hit the ball. It was loved it. But yeah, that wrapped up all that stuff. I loved how when everything ended, it like cut to the next morning and Akebi's waking up and she's all kind of obviously very bushed. Like the day before was just insane because of obviously she was cheering for people. She did 2 different events, one for swimming and one for the volleyball team. And I think she also played, no, I don't think she played ping pong. But following all that, she's like super exhausted and she wakes up and I'm like, I immediately took a screenshot and I sit in on Discord saying, biggest plot twist, it was all a dream. The entire school year was a dream. And then sure enough, she says something like, I thought that was all a dream or something like that. I'm like, just acknowledging my thought process that this is all a dream. And now she starts her first day at school. But yeah, I love the frizzy hair, Akebi getting ready and everything. Again, more just absolute gorgeous artwork and gorgeous animation. Just, it was the whole ending. This entire episode was just telling me, oh yeah, by the way, the show's ending. You're not going to enjoy this gorgeous artwork and these great characters ever again. Because, again, I don't think they're going to have a second season. I want it. I do want it. I just don't think it's going to happen. But, yeah. Fantastic episode. Great finale. This is going to be another hard one for me to review. I think this is another one of those ones where it's going to be so hard to really convey what I love so much about this. I think, again, I think it heavily relies on my stance that this is a writer that knows how to do simple but impactful storytelling. And again, slice of life at its best, great characters, a very lovable, likable main character. It's just trying to really convey that in as great possible words as possible, because this is technically one of those cases where, yeah, if you look on a lot of ratings things, it's not going to be like the greatest rated show, because I think a lot of people got in those first episodes, said, slice of life boring, turned off, or, oh my gosh, it's fetishizing something, I should be mad about this, and turn it off. And I don't think it was that. I don't think it was a sum of any of those things. It was something so much more. It was something very special, and it's something we don't really get enough of. I think, again, I equate this to something like Super Cub last year that is a type of storytelling that I think is simple, that just hits me very heavily, and that I just cannot get enough of. So, yeah, there it is. That's my thoughts on Akebi Sailor Uniform. I definitely appreciate everybody that's been joining me on a weekly basis, by the way. Like I said before, I think this is one of the most surprising shows for me every single week, of how much popularity it got, how much of my videos got hits. Definitely appreciate you all supporting me throughout these weeks. And as always, if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and join me as we get into the next season. I'm sure we'll find something else next season that we can keep a track of and cover on a weekly basis and have some fun discussion over. As always, if you want to support this channel, make sure to hit that like button down below. It definitely helps us out. And also, we have a Patreon link and a tips link in our description below. We also have a link to our merch site where you can check out and support us additionally, get some nice cups and mugs and apparel and all that kind of stuff. Definitely appreciate everybody that does support us, and y'all take care.